Welcome back to The Author's Edge. I am your host, Allison Lane, and you know what? I'm here for you. And I know why you're here because your book is coming out and you want it to be a success. I'm doing air bunnies if you can't see me, if you're not watching on YouTube, because a success is whatever you deem. And you do have to decide in advance what success is. Otherwise, no matter what kind of results, big or small or meaningful, that happen for you in your book, you won't recognize it and therefore you won't be celebrating. You won't see yourself as a success. So even if you're thinking, I should really write about that experience I had in my 20s, and like me, you're in your 50s or 60s, you can do that now. And I want you to know that if you are thinking, I do have a story to tell and I just don't know how to get it out there, please get in touch. That's what I'm here for. You can hit the link in the show notes, send me a text, and tell me what you need. And you can also obviously email me at allison@lanelit.com. I see them right away and I will email you back. Now, today we're going to be talking to someone who is super phenomenal. And we've had to reschedule a couple times because probably because of my schedule and my kid having strep or something. What I want you to put before I introduce her, just think about all the extraordinary things that you've done in your life that you don't tell people about and that you maybe don't think about all at once. Now, I want you to think about what if you could make sure that the lessons that you learned in your life, in your adventures, in your trials and tribulations, that you were giving them to people because they too could learn or connect. Well, that's what Dr. Mimi Zieman has done with her book, Tap Dancing on Everest, A Young Doctor's Unlikely Adventure. If you can see this, if you're looking on YouTube, that is her on Everest in tap shoes and somehow happy, even though she's so cold. Now, Mimi is an OBGYN. She's a physician, but also a fearless advocate for women and women's health and reproductive rights. Yay. And an award winning author. From delivering care on Everest to launching a memoir at over 50. I don't exactly know how old she is. She's not 20 saying, I've always wanted to be an author. Like, we've all wanted to be an author, but she's here to talk about saying yes through the fear, find purpose in the adventure that we all are having in this party called life, and how storytelling can really heal us, but also connect us. So please give me some applause, but you don't really need to if your hands are on the wheel and you're going down the highway, 10 and 2. Just help me welcome Dr. Mimi Zieman. I'm so excited that you're here. Mimi, we're going to hop right in because I want to get to something right away that people don't talk about. And then they're super humble, which you know how I feel about that. It's boring. So let's start with all the awards your book has won. I mean, tell me about the award like submission process and how they tell you about it and how you frame that in your head.
That's funny. As you write the book, the inner asshole between your ears is very strong. And I have a strong internal critic. So, of course, some external validation feels nice. Also, because these awards, they don't know you. They're getting random books from a lot of people. And I like that about these awards because a lot of the literary world is about who you know to get connections, to get reviews. That's a whole thing I didn't know. So it's nice that small authors like me have an opportunity to submit to some things where they can objectively look at all their submissions and give some awards.
Okay, let's reframe small authors like me. You're a big effing deal. Okay, let me reframe that for you. You're an award-winning author, a celebrated doctor, an OBGYN, and an advocate for women's health. I think there's nothing small about you at all. And if you need to call me once a week so I can tell
I
you
do,
that,
Allison.
that would be
Isn't that cool?
great. You have my number and you can text me whenever you need a kick in the tuchus because you're such a badass. And then the thing about badass is they never think their own badassery is something that is extraordinary. But extraordinary doesn't mean, oh, spectacular and you should be a celebrity. It's just that it's extra and not the ordinary. It's not ordinary to leave medical school and be like, time out. I'm going to go. I'm going to be on Everest for a while. I'll be right back. Most people don't do that because you've said yes to some pretty intimidating things. Everest being one, and I'm going to shake your book at you with Everest, for one, tap dancing on Everest, and also taking tap shoes to Everest, and you have multicolored, awesome leggings on, and you look happy, even though you're cold as all get out, I'm sure, and that would make me very grumpy. But also your advocacy, being out in front and then publishing a book, which is intimidating to a lot of people. A lot of people leave that on their dream list and they don't move it to their goal list. And we know what happens about dreams. They filter away. You have to move it to your goal column because a goal you can work toward. So,
Yeah.
what
And
helps you move forward through that fear or self doubt?
yes, and I just want to add that publishing a memoir in particular is scary because you're really putting your personal out there. And I am someone who likes to more hide and be in the background. And I've thought a lot about this. What pushes me forward is if I'm passionate about something and I feel it in my body, in my gut, it's when I will face fear and do something. Something internal is driving me. I don't do things to check off a list.
Yeah,
You should do this
right.
because then I would just want to give up. Like it wouldn't be like aligned with my heart and soul, as I say.
Yeah.
So it's really when you have a passion. And this is so interesting, Allison, because I thought about this a lot when I was writing the book because the body is so important in my story and that gut instinct. And just the body is how I got strength through dance and through hiking. And then the body, I choose to take care of other people's bodies to become a physician. And when I think about that gut instinct driving me, listen to this. You'll love this fact. The brain processes 11 million bits of information a minute, but only 40 to 50 bits of that are conscious thought. And it's our unconscious that's experiencing the world too. And so much of that may be wiser than we are in any particular moment. So when I listen to that body telling me something, I think it can bring you to these unexpected experiences if we're willing to listen.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Tell me that stat again. So 40 bits.
So the brain processes 11 million bits of information a minute, but only 40 to 50 bits of that are our conscious minds. So a
So,
lot of that includes things like swallowing, right? The body is doing stuff that we don't have to think about. But I think our body is experiencing life. Our body has memories. Our body may be thinking in ways we don't know how it is. So when our body has a gut instinct, there may be a reason for it that you don't consciously understand or know. I knew my gut instincts told me I needed to be in the mountains more than anything else. And I was going to work to get there.
wow.
Both the first time when I went hiking alone in Nepal at 22, and the second time when I said, okay, yes, I want to be the expedition doctor, even though I was a little baby medical student who was terrified of taking on that kind of responsibility.
I want to reframe the 50 bits versus the 11 million bits because there are 50 drops of water in a spoon. Like a teaspoon of water, it's 50 drops. There are 11 million gallons of water in an Olympic pool. Wait, that's not exactly right. Like, just think of like bucks in your wallet versus 11 million in your bank account. You can't carry 11 million bucks around, but if I had 51s, I'd be like, ooh, stash. But be surrounded with 11 million $1 bills, I'd be like, dollar bills, y'all. That'd be enough to fill multiple suitcases, right? Lots and lots. And I think that's incredible. Because even though your example of the swallowing, yeah, if you're intimidating, even the swallowing is hard.
You don't want to be
Try,
conscious of that. You want to let your
right.
unconscious take care of that. And, I think what I've learned through this year of book talks, I've gotten some questions that have really stumped me. What if I've never felt a gut instinct? And I'd be like, oh, I have something new to think about. And there's research into this that puts it all together also. There are what I think, if you've never felt that, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about intuition, we're talking about experience disguised as instinct. But there are ways to get more connected to the body. That's what this whole mindfulness movement is about. And the ways that they recommend are literally what I organically did when I went hiking in Nepal. Being in nature, being in solitude, journaling your thoughts gets you closer to your authentic self. When you're closer to your authentic self, you're going to feel some of those messages more. And another thing this researcher I came across, Erica Bailey, says is thinking about yourself with self compassion. We started out our talk. I'm not always so great at that. But what she gives examples are thinking about things you've done and saying, maybe I could have done better. We're all humans. We make mistakes. I can try something else. When you're looking at yourself that way compassionately, you're also connecting with your deeper self more. Anything
Wow.
you do like that helps you connect with your deeper self is going to help your body and mind, I think, come together.
So be in nature, journal, solitude. And you're not saying solitude while you're listening to a podcast or you're
No,
bopping along
exactly.
to Taylor Swift.
Exactly. Exactly. And writing and even talking with friends where you're processing stuff in a real genuine and compassionate way.
Yeah, I learn so much from you every time we talk, Dr. Mimi. Now, when you were practicing medicine on Everest and advocating for people, because you were everyone's guardian angel and healer and protector, really, how did that empower your voice when you came back home to be an advocate and a physician? Because I know you had some mind blowing moments on Everest, but like sometimes people leave that persona behind. Oh, that was me on the mountain. But now I'm going to go back into my spot, into my role. And it doesn't seem like you did that.
Yeah, I think being an advocate and using your voice, especially in today's world when everyone wants to cancel you, requires some badassery, to use your word. And I think I do it because it's values driven, right? I believe in it, then I need to do it, right? My father taught me that as a Holocaust survivor. He always used his voice for the world to be better. And on the mountain, a couple things happened. I was having a lot of conflict in medical school. I found it very hard. I found on the mountain taking care of my teammates who were near death was just gave me such a lift. Like it was such a privilege to be there for them. Like it really gave me new purpose in medicine. And then when I tried to use my voice to help them get evacuated more quickly, I had to shout at the Chinese, which was not a smart move, maybe, and didn't really work, but it made me realize I could do that. I could do that. And my lifelong dream was always to be an advocate for women, which is why I did go into OBGYN, which is why I have done a lot of advocacy for reproductive rights and things.
So you're practicing medicine, you're advocating for your teammates, climbing Everest, and you're really having to be their healers, their guides, their protectors, and empower them to achieve, but also protect them from the thing that maybe is going to harm them. You had to go head to head with some people who would disagree with you, and you were the only woman in that group, which must have been even, well, I know from reading your book, which I'm going to shake at people. I know from reading your book in my kitchen, I'd read it and like speed read it in one morning. Half of the time I was just standing up because I couldn't put it. I was like, why am I still standing up? But I didn't want to stop. So you had all this and you really found your purpose. But then so many people, when they have a moment like that, then it doesn't translate back to their real lives. They go back into their box or their role. But I want you to talk about how that empowered you to have that voice and how you came back bigger.
I think the more you flex that courage muscle, the easier it becomes to do next time, for sure. When I left for the expedition, I was having a tough time in med school. It was hard. It wasn't the dream life I wanted to be living at that moment. And on the mountain, I had to take care of my teammates who were near death. And I found that to be an incredible privilege. And it gave me new purpose in medicine. Then we had the situation where they were not getting evacuated in a timely fashion. And I was so frustrated, I screamed at the Chinese. This was still during communist China. Not a smart move, didn't really help us get out quicker. But I call it like finding my voice because I wasn't intimidated and I was going to do what I needed to do to help get these men to healthcare. And, it sort of aligns with my purpose to be an advocate because my father was a Holocaust survivor. It was really important to him to always use his voice to try to make the world a better place. So when I got home from the expedition, I did choose OBGYN because it was always my dream to advocate for women. And that's what I've done as a reproductive rights advocate. And it's never easy, especially in today's world where everyone wants to cancel you. I always use that there's a Jewish phrase, if not me, who? If not now, when? So I always say, I have this knowledge and skills, so if not me, who? I've got to do it. It's my responsibility.
That's meaningful, and I am tearing up. But I also want to I want to show you this that I keep on my desk. It says, I don't know if you can see it. It says, if I die tomorrow, who will help women get their books published, get their books pitched and published and launched and promoted and beyond? That this is my purpose. This is 25 years of Fortune 50 working, like promoting products. I don't care about launching another deodorant anymore. This is why I'm here because women account for one book in 10. That is bad shit. And we're busy taking care of other people and we want to make sure everybody's taken care of. And if I hear one more time over the summer, or I'll take a sabbatical, or when the kids are out of the house, I'll have time, no one will ever not need you, especially if you're there standing like a servant. It's
Mhm.
the same thing that happens at Thanksgiving when the moms are in the kitchen, like, does everybody have what they need? Does anybody need seconds before I have my firsts? Crap, just sit down and eat. Somebody else can get their butter, right?
Funny. It's true, though. And I didn't know that statistic of only 1 in 10 books are by women, but also the industry likes to pigeonhole who's your target audience, who's this book for. And now that I've been out with my book, it's so much broader than that. I have so many men coming to my book talks and relating to my story, where you could call this a woman's empowerment story. It's a people's empowerment story.
Right.
And I guess always want to break out of that box too.
Yeah. Big reveal, Mimi is a client. I helped her envision what her launch was going to be like and what she was going to talk about and make sure she had everything that she needed to feel powerful and capable and freaking awesome because she is. When you were envisioning what you would be talking about, I remember us talking about adventure and women telling their stories. But we also, especially after I read it, but still just meeting you, we talked about resilience. And it's not about the plot. You know what? Not only am I not going to go to Everest, I'm not even going to go skiing. I do not like being cold and sweaty at the same time. I will be in the lodge. That sounds terrible. But I am a delicate flower. But your message of resilience is one that I just feel like is my armor. So your storytelling and your helping people, especially me, because that's what we care about here is just how am I feeling, help me understand that all of these adventures that we all go on in life, whether they're micro or macro adventures, help you process and become the next version of yourself. So, my question for you is this: what has been the result of your resilience message, and what has that unlocked, in the people you meet? I hesitate to say your audience because that makes it sound like it's one big thing, but in each person, in each reader.
Yeah, that I don't think we talk about that enough. You work so hard on a book, but it's when it's out in the world and you hear what readers are taking from your story that you're just full of gratitude and just connection with them. I just did a book club last night, and you know what? People want to come over to you and tell you how they related to your book, how their story. I've had everything from someone saying, I'm a 300-pound Black woman, but when you wrote about your body, you were writing about me. And then she said, I was on vacation last week and I really wanted a jet ski. And I thought, they're going to laugh at me. Who's that fat lady on the jet ski? And I was reading your book and I said, hey, she did that. I can do this. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. That, what could be better than that?
I
What
don't
could be
know
better
how
than
you
that?
don't just sob through your own book events. I
No,
mean,
it's so from the smallest things. Like a man was afraid he had to move homes within the same city, really didn't want that change in his life. And he realized, yeah, I can change, I can evolve, I can do this next thing that will be hard for me. I read your book and I felt that way. I felt like I can do this. So it's such different kinds of people relating to different parts of the story, but getting that message, which was the most important thing to me, is that even when you're afraid, even when you're not excited about change, even when you feel vulnerable and exposed and scared, you can do it. And it's going to be hard, but there's the other side of it. There's all the ways you're going to grow from that. There's the new opportunities you're going to get you don't even know about yet.
mhm.
And when we don't take the risks, the question is, what are you missing out on? People don't think about that as much. If I do just stay here in my little comfortable place, what did I just not experience? Instead of focusing on if I do that scary thing, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to you if you don't do it?
Oh my gosh. So I'm full of body chills for sure. And what this makes me think of is not just also taking that, going on the jet ski or learning to ride a horse over 50, or writing and publishing your memoir 25 however many years after the fact. It's not like you did this
36.
yesterday. 36, I can't do math. I have a journalism degree. And yet you felt called to put this out there. This has been the book of your heart. So even writing the book is also the thing that was out there that needed to be done. So that resilience of I'm going to do it, and if it gets knocked down, it's going to happen. When you break that open, you see yourself in a different way. Like that woman, I just picture her on that jet ski owning the ocean, but you as well, having your book launch at the REI mothership in Atlanta instead of at a bookstore because that they do sell books, and you're just thinking of everything in a different way. What is a tip that you would give people who see something that they want and their mindset or their view is holding them back? Whether it's writing the book that they know they're meant to write, or a big move, or a small move, or changing careers. What's something that you can help open
Well, I
doors for
don't
us?
think I have the most profound insight, except for, of course, small bites, right? If you want to write a book, just start writing. Don't worry where it's going. Don't edit yourself while you're writing. Don't think about the publishing industry. Just write. My book went in directions I could never have imagined because I just wrote. And then at the end, I had to figure out what the story is. How am I putting this together? What's important? You want to change jobs? Start doing research, getting the skills in the new field you want. I know when I changed jobs, I was at Emory School of Medicine teaching medicine in the best job on paper. I was associate professor in charge of a million things, respected. I just wasn't happy. So I did not take that decision lightly. I started taking baby steps. I started consulting on the side, seeing, did I like that? Oh, yes, I did like that. What connections do I have in that? Let me make some connections. And I slowly, while I kept my first job, moved into the second job until I felt comfortable leaving. So, it can be a process. It doesn't have to all be instant.
Yeah, there is a pressure of maybe it's external pressure of, so you're not going to do this anymore. So how's that? What's that going to look like? Everything's an evolution. Let's calm the F down and give ourselves the opportunity to make a decision. At least you had a plan. I quit my big time comfy corporate PR leadership role 2 weeks before COVID without a plan because I hit a wall and I got a new boss who didn't bother to learn anyone's last names. He was super fun. And I just thought, I'm going to spit nails or I have to leave because I'm too old for this poo. So I quit. He was traveling. I sent an email. I never saw him again. That was it for me, 2 weeks before COVID. And when I did that, I had started helping writers learn how to pitch media and hone their pitches for publishers and agents, which is a book proposal and a query. People don't know, they have no idea that that's a thing. But I also was doing a lot of other things. If someone said, "Can you help me with my manuscript?" I would. I don't do that anymore because I had to. I'm the type of person that with the Cheesecake Factory, I like to read the whole menu before I hone in. So I was listening to, "Can you do that? Can you do this?" Well, as a PR and marketing leader, I can do a lot of things, but do I want to? And is there a need? No, there are a ton of people who can help you with your manuscript. There are very few people who can help you from beginning to end, pitch, navigate, launch, and open new doors. So that's what I focus on. But if I had come out of the gate knowing that, I think I would have been extraordinary because I wouldn't have had that input.
Yeah, but
And
you took that huge risk of leaving the job without knowing what you were going to do. That was the
to
big leap.
It was a leap, but it was also indignation and pure just anger.
You were fed up.
I really was.
But look what you're doing like your life's purpose, right? It
I
opened
am.
new. I do think that when we go to scary places, whether it was indignation or whatever, amazing things can open up. Same with me. I quit a job, very demanding job. That's how I got to writing the book. I drove home. I couldn't take it anymore. I quit. Didn't know what I was going to do this last job. And next day started writing this book. Didn't plan it, just started pouring out of me. Again, I think maybe our bodies know something we don't know yet. We're heading in a better place that we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. Okay. Different topic
Yes.
because you are such a reader and I'm always compiling my new reading list. What is a book that we should all get our hands on right now?
This is a different kind of book that I was reading for someone else's book club, and it's more of a philosophical book. It's called Life Worth Living, but it's sort of these topics we're talking about because it's written by the professors of the Yale Happiness course. And it's really about finding out your values and are you living in according with your values and the different philosophies about life and the different planes that we live on, the automatic and the deeper and the compassionate. And what I liked about that book club is we had really meaningful conversations. So that book has been good for me.
We will share it in the show notes. And
Yeah,
of course, a link to your book, Tap Dancing on Everest, a young doctor's unlikely journey. And I think that what people find is that their journeys are unlikely adventure. Their life can be an adventure, and it is absolutely unlikely. No one knows what tomorrow's going to bring. No one
exactly.
knows when you're going to feel the fire of indignation and quit your job with no plan. But the day goes on,
Yep.
and you get to choose how you're going to react or what's going to catch your eye and listen to your body and the 5 million messages that your body's giving you versus the 50 that you know about and feel empowered to take that leap. Okay, Dr. Mimi, we're bringing it home. What do you want people to know, think, or do based on hearing this today?
I want them to take the time to connect with themselves so that they are more in touch with their authentic selves. I want them to know it's okay to be afraid and still try something. We don't have to feel all courageous and bold to move forward in new directions, and that is how we grow. And I'm just one of those people who wants to continue growing throughout life. And I think new challenges help us grow. And it's great to do that with friends and community, but it's great to know yourself and connect on a deeper level.
So powerful. I think people think that they have to do everything alone. But what I found is that we all think that we have to earn our place. Maybe it's an American thing of you can't go to step 3 until someone has invited you to step 2 or you've completed the requisite. None of that is true. This is a choose your own adventure kind of experience, especially in writing, especially
Yeah.
in getting your book out. So that extends to who you ask for an endorsement or a blurb, which event you're going to attend or try to speak at. You can decide, but if you feel like, oh, I'm going to work my way up to that, I'm going to start small, I would challenge you, listen to what Dr. Mimi says, and know that you're extraordinary. When you sit with yourself, you can certainly feel that you can take that leap. But if you do feel like you need someone else to grab you by the shoulders and go, you are a big effing deal, you should do that. Join a writers group. Hop into my next chapter network. If you're thinking like, I have to figure out what my next chapter is, hop in because when other people see you and they go, do you realize that you should be speaking here or you could run a course there? Seeing yourself through somebody else's eyes is so much more powerful.
Yes. And the other thing is, people will feel stuck and in a rut or depressed or whatever. And what I have seen and found is go out and help someone else. That's going to make you feel so good and give you the oomph you might need to get out of your rut. And that's true in the literary world. That's true in what you're doing. You're helping people. That's what I see in these book talks. And people have been amazing choosing my book, inviting me in incredible places. And it's all unexpected to me. I don't expect anybody to do anything for me. They're being generous, and it makes me want to be generous. And that's the best feeling out of all of it.
That the thing is, when we met, you were like, my book, I don't expect it to be big. I remember you saying that it's little, and it's not little. Your book is the pathway to the future you. And now that the future you is here, what would you say to that woman who's, well, I'm still working on edits? What do you think she needed to hear?
What I was told, which was very good advice, was if your book reaches one reader and really moves them, that's worth everything. And that has been a gift for me to reach readers, connect with them, to have it be a conversation between us. Not look at me, look at my story. That's not the point. Point is, what is your story? How do we connect? What is the meaning behind everything we share in life? That's a gift. That's what my book is bringing me.
So freaking cool. I wish we could hang out all the time. Dr. Mimi, where should people find you?
My website is mimizemanmd.com. The book is in not many bookstores or libraries, so you can request it from your local indie or library, or of course it's on bookshop.org, amazon.com, those bigger
Barnes& and Noble.
places.
Yes, you
Barnes and
can get
Noble.
it anywhere. We understand what online retailing is. Books A Million, you can order a book from anywhere. You don't have to order from the big A, but if you enjoy it, super do that. What I want to say and translate this to you who's driving carpool and you're thinking, I have 3 minutes before my daughter comes out with all of her friends and she puts on whatever Chapel Roan song is gonna pull your heartstrings. That Pink Pony Club, I'm telling you, if you would just read the lyrics, it's crushing. So this is mostly my life, but if you're driving carpool or stuck in traffic and you're thinking, I don't know really what to do, but this has always been on my mind, listen, you don't have to earn your place to write. Nobody I work with identifies as a writer, even when they've written award-winning books. They might be identify as a physician or an ADHD coach or a stay-at-home mom, whatever. But very few people identify as I'm a writer or I'm a speaker. But you are. So, newsflash, what you have to say matters. And there's someone else out there who needs to hear it. You don't need anyone to validate the pull in your gut that's saying it's time. You're a writer when you put pencil to paper, even if that's the back of your dry cleaning receipt, which is how I started. And I have not written a book, but I've had a hand in many, and I'm a writer. So there. I think we should all be wearing shirts that say I'm a writer and with a ta-da on it. If this resonates with you, hit me back. There's a link in the show notes. You can send me a text and just write, I'm a writer, Allison. I get it. I'm a writer. And definitely ask a question because I will answer it on the show. Do me a favor too. Share this with someone who needs a guiding light, an invitation, or a shove, gentle and loving, but definitely a shove to do the thing that you know that they should be doing. Just forward it to them because podcasts grow when people share them. And sometimes, you think, oh, I'll just tell them about it. No, forward the freaking episode. Take the time, do them a solid. They'll thank you. And I so appreciate you because you are a big effing deal and you should be writing. And if you've thought about it even a chintzy, it's time. Don't put it off. Even if you carry around like I do, just 3x5 cards, because then it's no pressure. If I have a thought on a 3x5 card, and then later on, I can go through them and go, what sticks? So do it. Take the action. Now's the time. And we'll talk to you next week.